Hello, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. Hello, good morning. I'm sleepy today. I've been sleepy all week. I don't know. It's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm actually at my second place of work already. I feel so productive. So if you're new here, I'm a consultant dietitian. So I work for a dietitian consultant company and they have contracts with different hospitals. And I just go to the ones assigned to me. And I technically have 3 buildings on my roster today. I only need to visit in person one of them. Because the 2 others, I checked in remotely last evening and I didn't have anything urgent to come in and take care of. So I'm gonna follow up, circle back at the early, beginning of next week. However, I already did one of those because I knew from that check-in that I only had 2 new patients. And I was like, I feel like it'll be pretty quick if I just run in and take care of that. And it was really quick. It was honestly, I think it was 15 minutes, but I need to add up the time from that plus when I checked in yesterday. So yeah, so I'm at my main place, the place I knew I had to come in person for surezies. I don't know why I'm so tired. I'm just opening this up to get my name badge out. I have a collection of name badges for all of my different things. There's this, oh golly. I need a better system because they get tangled together. So I have my name badge for this hospital. I don't know what to anticipate going into this because this is a children's psychiatric hospital that I'm at now. And ever since school was let out, is that the right way to phrase that? I don't know. The workload lowers quite a bit. There's less admissions. It just feels like it's slower and we don't have as much people in the hospital during the summer and holiday breaks and stuff. So it should be a somewhat light day, but I don't know. I have some other things to do other than my basic go in, see who I'm referred to go give nutrition education or check in on or whatever. Beyond that, which is my normal role at everywhere I go, I have some other things that I've been ongoing working on that could fill up a lot more hours potentially. It's the beginning of the month when I'm filming this. Today's actually the 6th, so it's the first week of the month. And the first Thursday of every month, they check all of the long-term patients, the residential kids, they check their monthly weights. And I, as the dietitian, go and I review those monthly weights to see what the trends are, if they're gaining, losing, if they are still appropriate for whatever interventions that I've ordered or recommended for them might be, that kind of stuff. So I have to review. I'm planning on reviewing all of the weights today because those monthly weights were obtained yesterday. And I'm very excited about this because it used to be such a tedious thing to go in and review each patient's weight. There were just so many steps involved to get the most current weight. But I finally have a way that the electronic system can populate a report that I can easily refer to. I've been needing this since I started working at this building, but it's so clunky because they are technically paper charting. If you work in healthcare, you might know what I'm talking about. But it's the bane of my existence. I hate paper charting. I've tried to make as much of it electronic as possible for my purposes. They do have an electronic system, and that's where I'm supposed to get my dietitian nutrition consultation referrals. And we've been working to make sure that that's actually happening because it just wasn't the norm. It wasn't happening the way it was supposed to for a long time. But I really think that that's essentially resolved because I've been pestering nursing and I feel bad, but they didn't know, or weren't shown how to do certain things or whatever. So I've been, just repeating myself over and over, and they're referring people to me the way they are supposed to now. So that's helped. So they have an electronic system and that's where I get my referrals. They also have all the basic information in there, height, weight, medications, other vitals, their main diagnosis, which is usually depression, or for the adults, alcohol, detox. I'm trying to think of what else that's primarily what I use it for. There's other things I'm sure in there, and the weights are logged in there in a very I don't know if it's the best way for it to happen, but I don't know what the like behind the scenes of that system looks like. So it's just tedious for me to go in and find each weight, but there was finally a report made where I could just like populate all of the weights. So that'll be an easier task today. I also have like these weird projects going on. Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm so tired. I need to have more coffee. Weird projects. So do I have enough clarity mentally right now to talk about this? There's this, whenever the patient's discharged from the hospital, they go through a survey with staff where they kind of like rate their experience. So these are called, I think, satisfaction surveys. And one of them references, I was satisfied with the food. And so I don't make the food. I do approve the menus and primarily build the menus, but I kind of like whatever kitchen staff is wanting to do, the kitchen manager specifically, I'm pretty much game for whatever their preferences are because they actually know what they're doing. And I'm just making sure it's nutritionally adequate. Like, I don't really care. I just want to make sure it's acceptable. Like, I want to be as hands-off as possible. So I'm not necessarily interlinked with the satisfaction of the food, but the role of the dietitian at this hospital is a lot more close working with, sorry, my watch keeps buzzing at me, with the kitchen department than the other sites that I've worked at. So I've been pulled in because the satisfaction score decreased, I suppose, significantly in the past month, which I have some suspicions about why that happened, because objectively, I don't understand. I don't hear complaints about the food except for from staff. Every hospital has like weird resentment between departments sometimes. I don't know. So like here, the culture is just like nursing and kitchen just hate each other, I guess. And that's not like the rule. Why does this keep buzzing? I'm gonna freak out. But yeah, so I only ever hear complaints from staff, but like I only hear compliments from the patients. And I eat here, which is usually like a stamp of approval because I do a monthly sanitation inspection to make sure everything is organized and clean and like documented correctly and everything. And I'm feeling pretty comfortable with the way that safety, sanitation, cleanliness wise this kitchen is set up, and I like the food most of the time. So like I eat here all the time. Like, so I don't know. I don't understand why the satisfaction score dipped, but I'm partially responsible for building an action plan to resolve whatever issue that is. So I feel like it's way out of my depth. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I've like talked to some staff about like what the best way to do this is. And I have some proposals that I put forth last time I was here. One of them was like a more tailored specific survey that we could provide to the patients directly, not just when they're discharging, but like after a meal or something, to get more insight about like what they're liking, what they're not liking, what it is that the issue might be, because maybe it's not even like the food, maybe it's the environment of the cafeteria, maybe it's the portion sizes, which we can't do anything about, but like maybe it's something like we don't know what the problem is right now. It just the food. That's all we know. It's very open-ended and vague because the comments aren't very specific. Most people don't leave any comments. Anyway, so I have like a draft of what I want this survey to look like, but I need to like actually make it today. And I wanted to chat with the kitchen manager because she's going to be here today. We missed each other this week in my earlier visits, but want to chat with her about how this could actually be implemented in a way that is realistic because it just seems such like a question mark in my brain. But anyway, I need to follow up on that project. I'll let you know what happens. And then what's my other thing? Oh, we're in the process. I'm so sick of thinking and talking about this. I feel like I've lived my whole life talking about freaking policies. So every hospital and probably other workplaces have documented like policies that they have to follow, and there's an entire like department or area that's kitchen and dining and dietary stuff. So annually we have to go through and review all of them to see if they're accurate, if we're following these policies, if we need to suggest any changes to the way it's written. We like way overhauled it this year, so that's why it's like taking over my whole life, because I've been talking about this since I started reviewing them, and then it was like an insanely long and tedious project to like draft up my recommended changes, because I had a lot of recommendations, because a lot of them it feels like weren't touched for like 2 decades. like literally, because you can see when they were like entered and approved and everything initially, and you can see the last time it was actually revised. And a lot of them genuinely hadn't been touched other than just the annual approval process since 2004. Let that sink in. So I had a ton of recommendations, and they're still like in process of being final look over approval, whatever. That didn't make sense. But like I feel like she can hear me talk. Sorry, there's somebody in the parking lot, but the kitchen manager owns those policies, so she had to go in and like submit the revision requests, and then she's approving them. So like we had to work together on that, but then there's like other people that need to approve it down the line before it's like published. So that's like been halfway done. Like half of them have been final published, but I need to check in on that and see how that's all looking at some point. I need to go inside. I need to get me some more coffee probably. Okay. Was that a fun info dump for you? That was fun for me. Okay, bye. Hey baby, hey baby, hey. I'm back. I'm at my next building. I've been so annoyed. So my mascara is doing this thing where I think the stopper is coming out when I open the tube, you know, because like you unscrew it and you pull out the wand, but there's like a stopper so you don't get globs of product coming out. I think whenever I started opening it, started taking the stopper with it because there were lots of globs of product. And at first I was like kind of happy about it because I was like thinking that it was drying out, but then I'm seeing like it's certainly not drying out. But then I got way too much product on like this part of my eye, and I don't know, it's been making me crazy. I'm gonna keep picking at it nonstop. I need to just ignore it for now. But it was weird because then I opened it a second time today, I think it was, and the stopper was in place and it looked not globby whatsoever. So I don't really know what's going on. But anyway, I decided to go to my other building. So I'm hitting up all 3 hospitals today, and we love to see it. I just have enough time. So I am gonna go in, do some work. I already charted on people last night, so nothing will hopefully be due, but I'm gonna see if there was anyone that needed nutrition education, because I cannot remember. And if anybody new was admitted or whatever, if I need to talk to any staff. So that's just kind of what I'm gonna do. Oh my gosh, my eyelashes. But yeah, my other hospital was good. I only had 2 referrals, which is so insignificant based on how many patients there usually are. But it was funny because one of them was for BMI, which it is confusing, to be fair. So whenever nursing does their admission assessment, screening for nutrition risk, there's 2 different like categories: if they're an adult or if they're under 20 years old, which there's even more confusion when they're 18 to 20, because technically they're supposed to screen them as an adult, but I know that I should be treating it for BMI at least as if they are not an adult. I don't even know if that makes sense. It doesn't really matter. But there's 2 different criteria. For adults, if their BMI hits certain numbers, they should be referring a consultation from me. But when they are children, there's a growth chart associated with their BMI. So like they could have a number that seems like it's super abnormal if you're an adult, but if it's like a very small number but they're like 8 years old, they might be totally at a normal BMI for their age. So I was referred for someone that they said it was underweight because it was under the number that adults we look for. But for this kid, whenever I plotted it on the growth chart, technically they were actually overweight. And I was like, that's kind of funny. So, but it didn't trigger a like consultation from me based on that outcome. So I didn't have to talk to them. And then the other one was just a food allergy. It was for red food dye. And this is something that the kitchen is well aware of. We have identified which products have red food dye, and there's only like one thing in the whole cafeteria that has red food dye. So they are set up for success already on that. And that was all I had to do. I also did do all of the residential monthly weights, and it was not great. There were a lot of people I'm concerned about, but I did do all of like the actual report. I have to plot everything in like one graph that I send as a summary to staff and like keep for my records, but then I individually go and assess each patient basically. Like I put a little blurb of like, this is what happened, like this is why, or whatever. So I've written up and actually entered all of the notes for all of the residents already, but I do have quite a lengthy list of people I want to look back into for more details, more information, see if they need education, if they need a new nutrition intervention, or if we need to like redirect what they're doing for their nutrition interventions. Like, there was a long list, so I'm gonna have to look back into that next week. And I also try to make some progress on like the satisfaction survey thing that we talked about, I hope, earlier. I didn't really get to touch on that because the person I wanted to ask more questions wasn't here today. But I did chat with some staff about like their ideas and whatever. So I'm gonna have to continue to follow that up. I actually brought some papers with me. I have some homework I've assigned myself, and it does include like making a food satisfaction survey for the kids. I wanted to have that done today, but I figured I can do that at home, so I left. Oh my gosh, it's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. Don't take your clothes off. So I'm gonna get my next ID badge. I'm gonna go into the hospital and hopefully not have that much work to do. That's the goal, because I would love to get home at a reasonable time and play my video game. Okay, let's put all those papers face down. That was my lunch box. I still have a sandwich to eat because I ate lunch at my facility. Oh my gosh, they do the cutest little things. So I try to have a meal at the hospital at least once a week just to know how their food is tasting and appearing and all this stuff. I haven't ever had fish nuggets. Sounds gross, I know. But there's fish nuggets that we only have once on our menu cycle. Our menu cycle is 4 weeks long, so we rotate through that through the season. So it's a spring summer menu. We only have fish nuggets once. It's the only time we have fish at all, because obviously it's not super duper kid friendly, but these fish nuggets are more like fish sticks, but they're just in the shape of like a chicken nugget. And one of the reasons I've not gotten rid of it, even though I kind of thought about getting rid of it altogether, is they have like cute little shapes. There's little stars, there's little fish shapes. Like if you think about those potatoes on those frozen meals that are smiley faces, or I'm sure there's chicken nuggets with cute shapes or whatever. So they have the cute shape. I've never had the fish nuggets before, but I had them today and they just tasted like a fish stick. And I was like, I don't think this is bad. Like, I think we could probably keep this on the menu. But this hospital does cute little things for their staff appreciation. I'll try to put in a clip. We had this like s'mores day the other day, and that was really fun. I got to make a s'more. There's a little, actually, I think I still have the pen that came with it. I think I put it in this bag. I can't remember. Yeah! You know, there's this cute little pen that has a little s'more on it, and it has "You are appreciated s'more than you know." Super cute. So, yeah, I got that. They always have fun little activities and appreciation for staff going on. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say. So I'm getting very hot. I'm gonna go. Where did my name tag go? There it is. Toodles. I'll talk to you later.